The action so far, Charles Barkley has made a new pick for NBA champion, and it isn't who you think it is. You'll see it as we get rolling. It's time to get up on a Tuesday from New York. Hi, everybody. And
Let's get it.
It is bordering on unfair to have this much handsome at any one given moment. Jalen is back. Jay Will is here. Seth is here. And the big Swagoo.
Yes, sir.
And I know why Swagoo is here, because all of a sudden, this series between the Warriors and the Rockets, it's looking a little more like football than it is like basketball.
Physical,
and you know the big fella likes that. That's our game of the night. This one came down to the final shot. Here we go. Jalen, Kevin Durant, and James Harden ready for what I think in many ways was the most important game of the NBA season so far, and a tone set early for the physicality.
And also, it's always good to see James Harden trying to get opportunities to transition. He got elbowed in the head right there. No true harm, no real foul. Continue to play basketball.
Physical play early, but that would be a sign of things to come. Second quarter action now. The Rockets have a 2-point lead. Harden stepping back. Is that a foul on Klay Thompson?
That is a foul and a three-point shot. And James Harden's activity continues to keep Klay Thompson working. I think that's affecting his offense.
Rockets up 6. Now more physical play. Watch this here as Paul is going to wind up down, and Durant seems to throw an elbow in the face. What do we make of this?
I actually like it.
Like it?
I do. Playoff basketball. Chris Paul is an irritant. He would do the exact same thing if he had the opportunity.
Third quarter, Rockets have a 9-point lead. It's Harden stepping back. And look at this. He actually hits Draymond Green. Green goes down, and he's not faking. Take another look at this. He hits him with the elbow, side of the head. Down goes Green. Here was Green after the game.
Told y'all before I get fouled on James Harden three-pointers, y'all thought I was lying. People think I should be making it up.
All right, we think it's a flop, one way or the other. Ensuing Warriors possession. Here we go. Thompson, Green, hit hard. He's getting up. He's throwing shoves. These teams have reached the stage where they're flat out sick of each other, and I'm here for it.
I love it. Playoff basketball. No exchanging jerseys. No pleasantries during the basketball game.
There was certainly none of that going on there. Okay, now let's get to where the game is decided. Fourth quarter, Warriors are down by 8. They're not giving up. Draymond bringing it up. Oh, Draymond, his pocket pick from behind. PJ Tucker turning defense into offense. Rockets, a 10-point lead. 2 minutes to go. Warriors down 9. No defense for this.
KD, when he gets to 15 feet, it's basically automatic.
They're within 7. Under 30 seconds to go, they're within 5. Steph, no. Offensive rebound. Steph. Yes! It's a 2-point game. They've come all the way back. Can they put this series away? Warriors foul Harden. Makes the first. Oh, he misses the second. It's a 1-possession game. He had a chance to make it a 4-point lead with 11 seconds left. He couldn't do it. Golden State, one last shot. Where are they going to go? Durant. That's a good look. It's no good. Wait a minute. Offensive rebound. Steph. That's a pretty good look. Oh, they both miss. Durant and Curry with good looks at the basket to tie it. They can't get it to go. James Harden finishes with 38 points, 10 rebounds, and the Rockets are back in it. 112-108. This one's all even at 2 games apiece.
It's just great basketball out there, man. It's just, as a player, being tied up in the series, the 2-2, you kind of feel a little different. But, the way both teams are playing with such aggression and intensity, it's fun to be out there. So we're looking forward to Game 5.
Most teams can't go back at them. Most teams don't have the personnel to compete with them defensively and then offensively go back at them. So that's all we're doing. Like we know what's at stake. We know who we're playing against. We're not going to let up.
This is what it's about. This is the NBA playoffs, the best teams in the league, and we're playing a great team, and we know what the game plan is, and we know how good they are. So it's just about competition. That's it.
How even is the series so far? Great job by Hembo on this. Look at this. The 2 stars are separated by 1 point, and their supporting casts are dead even. Dead even. So the 2 teams are tied at 2-2, and they're separated by 1 point total to this point in the series. So it's a best of 3 between the Warriors and the Rockets. I'm looking to this side of the table first. Does anyone here believe the Rockets have a real chance to win this series?
They have a real chance, but I'm not gonna bet on the Rockets to win. I'm still gonna bet on Golden State, considering they have home court advantage. Look, first off, last night, where is Klay Thompson? Like, where is Klay Thompson on the court? Uncontested threes, he's shooting 23%. This is a career 42% three-point shooter. But also, I give PJ Tucker a lot of credit. Now, James Harden is going to get buckets. Eric Gordon playing well. But PJ Tucker last night, 17 points, 10 rebounds, made 3 threes, and you talk about all the dirty work, and he had the highest plus margin on the court. He was plus 11. He did all the little details that you need. Now, I know Kevin Durant's going to score his buckets, but still, P.J. Tucker is the heart of this team on the defensive end.
He's the ultimate role player. He embraces, champions his role, and he's the difference in this. He's got the highest plus-minus in the last 2 games of anyone in the series because he rebounds, he defends, he makes open shots, and he brings us toughness. When you look at this game, this is the anti-Warriors offense right now. You know, they're making 40 fewer passes a game in this series.
Why?
Compared to last series.
Why?
Because the ball's in Kevin Durant's hands. They're playing through Kevin Durant because partially Klay Thompson has struggled. Steph has struggled at times. I think the ball's getting stuck. They've gotten away from who they are. When you think of Warriors basketball, you think of that ball moving. You think of Steph playing off the ball. Right now, the ball's getting stuck. It's not who they are when they're at the very
also
best.
the style they're playing against, too.
I don't want to bury the lead here. The Houston Rockets, as James Harden said it, are beating the Golden State Warriors at their own game. They were plus 27 on three-pointers. Plus 27. When you talk about the Golden State Warriors, people automatically assume that they're draining threes. Okay? KD's not a volume three-point shooter, as you just alluded to. He's a terrific scorer, so he's going to mix up his game. All you have to do is stand next to Klay. You'll limit his opportunities. And they're making Steph Curry work defensively. They're basically trying to hide Steph. Like, literally, there are plays where they try to pick to get Steph into action, and he's running away from guarding somebody. Yep. So they're making those guys work, and it's affecting their three-point shot.
So I want to go all the way back, Jay, to where you began. If they're not getting, if they're getting outscored so badly from 3, a part of that is because Curry's not hitting them for the most part, and Thompson's not hitting them at all. Is that just a function of them being cold? Is it a function of what the Warriors are doing offensively, or is it a function of the Rockets' defense?
I think it's a little bit of all those things, Greeny. I think it's the physicality in which they're playing with. I think that Klay Thompson really hasn't found his flow. But still, look, I still think that having home court advantage is a significant thing for the Golden State Warriors. Klay Thompson wasn't playing well. Steph played a little bit better last night, but they were still in the game to win it. Like, they're still there. So everything has to go right for Houston to win the game, but you almost feel like they haven't hit on all cylinders yet for Golden State.
How the game is going to be officiated is going to be the key in Golden State. Because if they let this game be physical, it is a huge advantage. Look at the body types and the physicality and the mindset of Houston compared to the Golden State Warriors.
Well, that was actually one of the big storylines in the post-game news conferences. I want you to hear both Steve Kerr and Draymond Green talking about that exactly.
They got a lot of middle linebackers on that team. They're sturdy, and we look like more like volleyball players, long and lean. But we've done this many times before. Everybody tries to be physical with us, and because they should. That's the best way to try to beat us.
We go into a fight thinking it's a fair fight, and it's not. They're doing whatever it takes to win. And not that they're like doing anything dirty or nothing like that, but they're doing whatever it takes to win. And we're just kind of rolling in like, oh yeah, we'll box, and they slamming us. So we got to just change our mindset. And I think if we change our mindset, then we'll be just fine.
Well, we felt we needed to bring our own middle linebacker in here, or in this case, a defensive tackle, for some thoughts on that. Because as you hear them talking about that and you look at the way, the physicality with which Houston is playing, you love basketball as much as you love football. What are you seeing and hearing?
Well, look, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know much about the plus minuses and usages and all of the terms you guys use. Been learning a lot. But what I will say is, in professional sports, you trying to dictate the tempo. You're trying to get the other team to play the game you want them to play. And that's what Houston was able to do last night. As I was watching this game, I was thinking the same thing. Steph has never been a physical basketball player. Klay Thompson, we talked about being one of the best two-way players in the NBA a couple years ago, but they're pressuring him. They're putting bodies on him. P.J. Tucker played his way. Think about the series last year with Trevor Ariza. They were physical with the Golden State Warriors, even without Chris Paul in Game 7. They got in them, they got under him. We saw Patrick Beverley get physical with KD in the first series, and it bothered him a lot until he started shooting over the top. So I think in football, if a team wants to play the air raid system, you want to beat their offensive line up and get to the quarterback. That's the best way to stop them. In basketball, when you know you have that many shooters, that many skilled guys offensively, you want their bodies to start wearing down by the fourth quarter. I think that's what's happening.
Also, for the Golden State Warriors, again, their motto is strength in numbers, but they're not deep. Okay, and the Houston Rockets do a really good job of switching. that forces them to play isolation basketball. It takes away the drive and kick open three-point shots. And if you really look at who you fear for the Golden State Warriors taking open three-pointers, you would say the Splash Brothers and KD, and that's it. So based on that, we know them for being like a high-volume, knockdown three-point shooting team. The Houston Rockets are beating them at that game. That's why the series is tied.
Can I tell you who needs to do a little bit more?
Tell me.
And it may not show up in the box score, but when I see video of Draymond Green flopping, I'm like, okay, all right, Draymond. Like, I see what kind of Draymond Green you are in this game. Like, that's not who you've always been. So now, like, Draymond, if there's one guy that can combat PJ Tucker, I'm not saying they're going to guard each other, but from that mindset mentality, like, Draymond needs to start being the old school Draymond. Like, maybe even if he gets attacked, hit somebody with a hard something, but set the tone for this team in a different way because they need him now more than ever.
There's that battle that you're talking about. But what you heard him say it in there. They're bringing it to us. You heard Draymond himself saying it. He's the guy, you're saying, who is responsible for creating that mentality for his own team.
Yes, I mean, he is the enforcer. Every team needs, and Jay Rose, you and I, we talked about this. You play in a lot of playoff games. I watched a lot of games. There's nothing wrong sometimes if you're coming down the lane, somebody just batting you with the elbow, and you feel that you're like, man, I ain't coming down this lane no more. You need that physicality for somebody to set the tone for your team, and that's what P.J. Tucker's doing.
That's what P.J. Tucker is bringing to this team. And P.J. Tucker, Houston's out-physicaling the Warriors offensively, too. Their offense is physical. Like, everyone talks about competing defensively. Think about how Houston plays offensively. They're playing downhill. They're getting in the lane. They're hitting people. They're getting to the rim. I think Gordon, his ability to make Steph defend, putting Steph in situations where eventually he does have to switch. And what are they doing? They're going right at him. They're banging him off the ball with screens. Eventually that's going to wear you down. And I think the physicality of P.J. Tucker, the physicality of Chris Paul, the physicality of the way James Harden plays has worn down Golden State in a lot of ways.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. When you get to the playoffs, your role players are the most important. Think about when Golden State was rolling. It was Andre Iguodala. Livingston came in and gave them great minutes. They're not getting that. They become reliable on a superstar. KD, it has changed everything. The dynamic.
They also had Zaza. They had Zaza, too, and Zaza was that force down low.
So now we're about to move into another team that's playing that way as well.
That's why this is a different Golden State Warrior team, and that's why they're vulnerable. They're not strength in numbers anymore. They rely solely on their starters. And Andre Iguodala didn't have a big game. And they used to rely on the three-point shot because they have multiple people that can make them. The Houston Rockets are beating them at their own game.
By the way, there are two words that have not been mentioned in our 13 minutes so far, and they should be, and those two words are Boogie Cousins. We didn't know how much they'd miss him. I tell you what, he would make a huge difference in what we're seeing out there right now. So that's our storyline out west. How about